business from being in 17 million dirhams of debt to turning over 200 plus million a year. When Dubai came around, I was getting booked to play for some really big nights. I was playing at Ministry of Sound, playing for some record labels, supporting really big DJs. And I probably could have pushed into the production lifestyle, but knowing the type of personality that I am, I would never go to a DJ and not drink.
Yeah.
I'd have to always drink to like get involved in like what everyone else is feeling.
Yeah, I've heard that before actually from a friend of mine. It's tough.
The problem was I actually looked when Dubai came around. I was like, I can either pursue this DJ career, or I just go and follow like the kind of career path. And I thought, if I decide to have a family one day, do I want to be going out, DJing?
Yeah.
And the answer was no. So
nice. A lot of foresight at that age to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I just I struggle to sit. To be honest, I always feel like I have to be doing something.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. So then came out to Dubai with the guy that you sold the property to.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Yeah, I worked with him for 2 years. He was a good guy. A little bit sporadic in terms of like his emotion like towards us, because it was the start of business. Mm-hmm. But when I left them, they were doing nothing, and then they were doing about $5 million in CCTV contracts. So we'd sell CCTV to new projects. And I knew nothing about CCTV, but I just threw myself into it. But yeah, there was always a promise of something, and then that promise never kind of came around. So then I decided, I'll look at other options. Yeah. But yeah, I came here when I was 24, so I was so young. Yeah. You think when you're 24 you have life mapped out, and you actually don't. It's like I look at that 24-year-old and it's so crazy what went on in my life, because I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I wanted to do still. I was still figuring life out. And I think, if I could actually give advice to anyone that's 24, is like, don't worry if you've not got it figured out at 24, because it's so hard. It really is so hard to like figure out what you want to do, and just, it is a challenge,
I always think that when we look back and we're 50, and we look back and think I'm 36, and I think, like, I was so young back then. But when you're in it, and when you're at that age, you always feel you're old, right?
I know, yeah. I don't feel like I'm old now though, because the thing is, I don't feel like I'm 35 in my head. But yeah, I'm sure when you come 50, you'll still feel like, oh God, I feel like I'm 30 still. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So nothing changed. Like you actually don't.
But even when I was 24, I felt like I was mature and I was an adult. But in hindsight, when you look back, you weren't. Yeah. And there was still so much in life you had to figure out. I was still quite, I didn't have much confidence, even though from the outside you think I did. And, again, just like trying to figure out what I'm actually good at, from going from chef to sales and all these things. Yeah. But the most important thing was that I was having fun. Yeah. That's this whole process. I was having a lot of fun. And I think the time where I really started to grow up was when I got the role with KOJ as the head of the business development, and that's where I kind of was like, okay, I need to stop fucking around now. I've actually got a decent job, decent money, really good career opportunity, and I had a big task ahead of me, so I couldn't really mess about. So yeah, I think that's the time where I kind of like actually was like, okay, right, now it's time to put the big boy shoes on and really get to work.
Nice. And how long were you there for? You're still there?
Still there, still grinding. We took over the business when it was in around 17 million dirhams worth of debt. So we kind
17
million dirhams, yeah. Great business, connected to a large retail entity that has a number of retail franchises here. So the footprint of retail is phenomenal, probably around 2,000 stores in the GCC. So they had this spin-off where they would do all the production themselves of all the stores whenever they needed a new store. But the management that were there at the time just did a terrible job, and was running it into the ground. And it had good foundations, but just terrible people running it. Yeah. So the option for them was close or bring in new people, give them a year to turn it around. And I was one of the people that they gave a year to turn it around, and we got it in a good position within 6 months. Mm-hmm. And I got a lot to thank KOJ for as well, because financially they've I've worked my ass off, like, don't get me wrong, but like they've paid me for it. Do you know what I mean? Like that, you know, when we win contracts, we get paid for the contracts we win, and that's been able to set me up now to having 2 properties, financial backing, you know, setting up my own business and all these things. So yeah, it's kind of like I've got a massive invested interest in that business, and soon to be going public as well. So who knows what the future holds? You never know, right? Things might change, but for now, whilst I'm still doing really good, and you know what it's like here, once you land a few good clients, they're with you until you fuck it up, basically. So you know, I'm hitting good exactly. I'm hitting good numbers at the moment. I'm consistent.
And so when you used to turn the business around, you came in, what were you actually tasked with doing?
Winning business.
Okay.
I underestimated it because, like, you know, I was 27, and to be honest, I needed a bit of a break because I'd worked for some average companies, mate, and it was just like, you know, this is the thing about Dubai. It's like I forget those days, but I remember the days where the salaries came late and you weren't getting paid your commission and all these things, and you forget how stressful those times are.
You
do forget. And it really is quite dark when those moments are going on, when you've not got much money. You look at the bank, you know, fucking hell, I've got 5,000 dirhams, or not even that sometimes. You know, your rent comes out and you're like, I've got 3,000 dirhams to last me for the rest of the month. Like, it's you know, squeaky bum time. But then when KOJ came around, it was like, you know, it was just an opportunity for me to just really like just work hard. And what had happened was, because we were in this debt, they said, right, you just need to basically bring all the business in. But I saw it as a great opportunity because I was like, first of all, it was a great package. So I was kind of just like jumped at the package and then got into the business. Like, fuck, this is going to be really hard. I looked at all the business.
Have to do something.
Yeah, exactly. I looked at all the businesses and kind of broke it down. And we didn't really have a company profile. We didn't really have a structure. We didn't really have good projects to refer to. So like, it was like selling my soul for the first few months. But I was lucky to win a big project in the first 2 weeks that I was there, which was a 90,000 square foot office. So that kind of gave us some good momentum, and then leverage relationships, you know, the people that I already knew in the market. And we went from there, and then we got it profitable within 6 months.
Nice.
So that basically meant our jobs were secure.
Nice.
And then carried on building. And we grew about 40% a year until COVID happened. And then obviously all the business just stopped immediately, but we was able to keep the doors open because we had a few good years. And then, you know, we've grown astronomically since COVID. You know, since COVID, like it's gone. It's like growth on steroids. And when you continue to do a good job and continue to maintain relationships, it just keeps coming. So yeah, now, I mean, in 7 years, we took the business from being in 17 million dirhams of debt to turning over 200 plus million a year, which is no small feat, to be honest. It's, we work really hard to get there, and it's a good place to be now.